Good afternoon, everyone. It's Ali Olmes, CEO of Jim's Cleaning Group, and we've got Haydar Hussein, the founder of the cleaning group. And today will be our first episode, so we're going to really go back in time and go to the early days of having your journey, how it started, Haydar, and the challenges you faced. And obviously, currently we have over 1,700 franchisees, but Jim's Cleaning, back in 2001, a lot smaller and had didn't have really that many the brand power as well.
Yeah, it was just so long ago. How we started. We started in 2001, July the 1st. Prior to that, I had my own small cleaning business, which was doing okay. I had 6 or 7 staff, but it was very challenging to manage that staff and also to get new work. So, I went out looking for ways of how am I going to build this thing? And I realized early on that to advertise and build a brand would cost you millions. And it's just something that I couldn't achieve. So I hooked up with Jim, which is a story. I'll get into that as we have more episodes. But I hooked up with Jim and took on a region in Melbourne, which was 1/4 of Melbourne. And there was another guy with us as well, Trevor. He had another quarter. And together we split up the country and we tried to manage it as a team, which obviously worked well for up to some point. And then 2022, I made a deal with Jim to buy it all off him, which was the divisional rights on payment terms. 2002, on vendor finance. And Jim was happy enough to agree to that. And I gave it a go on my own in my little Bell Street office. And at that stage, I was newly married to Janan and I met you. Yes. And then things changed from that point on. So when you got involved, it became more of a serious business, even though you were a regional franchisor for a while, from memory. For how long?
For about 18 months. It was like a good challenge and a test for us. It was a division that hadn't made it yet. So cleaning was going extremely well, and then carpet cleaning was one of those smaller divisions that only had a handful of franchisees at the time. And
I think when I met you, we only had like less than 300 franchisees.
It was about 200. We celebrated 300 franchisees together. I remember.
Yeah, we did. Cake. That's right. I remember that.
So it's come a long way, and we've had double-digit growth over those years, over the last 20 years.
Maybe we should talk about how you actually got the job as a CEO.
Yes.
Do you remember?
Yes, I do actually. So at the time I was a franchisor for carpet cleaning. We're in Bell Street, a small office in Bell Street in Pascoe Vale, and I think we had about 3 or 4 of us working from their office. Some of the other franchisors, such as Bill and Marty and Bates. But I could see the bigger picture. So it was a business, as we say, it was a tip of the iceberg, and I could see the bigger picture. But I could also see, being involved in the business for 18 months, I could see the challenges that you were facing as well. And I remember sitting down and making a list and saying, I want this job. So there was no position available.
No, I was a sole trader at that stage.
That's right. I was a sole trader, and I said, I want this CEO role. He said, well, it's not a role that exists. I'm the CEO. Pretty much.
Yeah.
I said, well, yes, and we've actually sat down and made a list. And one question that you said is, I can't afford you.
Did I pay you?
I said, don't pay me until you can afford me. And obviously, not many people will go with 5 or 6 months without pay, which would...
Did I not pay you for 6 months?
Yeah, well, we've made up for it, I guess, after that. But
really?
It was about 5 months until...
I don't remember that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And after 5 months, I'm sure the return of the hard work that we've been putting in the business started paying off, and it was probably one of the best decisions that we ever made for both of us.
Oh, it was definitely good for me. I mean, to have someone with your skill level and the abilities is definitely an asset for me. I think we should share in more detail as we move forward exactly how you progressed in this business. Because I don't want to talk out of school, but you're a very wealthy man now, very wealthy family, and which you've earned every step of the way.
Yes.
Would you like to share moving forward how you did that? Because You're actually a 50% shareholder now in most of my businesses, obviously except Jim's Cleaning. But car detailing you own by yourself, contracts department you own with me, uniform department you own. Yep. You drive a 911.
There's been times, there's been tough times. It wasn't all walk in a park and all roses. There's definitely hard times, which obviously we'll get through in some of the other podcasts.
Yeah.
But it's well earned, well deserved in my opinion.
100%, Ali. Yeah.
And just to give everyone a bit of an inside information, I've actually started this business with $5,000.
Correct.
Right. So when I met Haydar, he said there was an opportunity available in carpet cleaning, a region with 4 franchisees. And I told him I just didn't have the finance at that time. I was newly married, just purchased a house, and I was quite tight for cash. And he said, well, $5,000 for the initial training and expenses, startup expenses, and we'll work everything else out. And I've pretty much built a multi-million-dollar business from that $5,000 investment. So
that's a very, very good story. I think our listeners would love to hear that, Ali.
Yes.
I mean, from a $5,000 investment now to the point where Ali can fly to Istanbul to watch one soccer match for one night. And I don't even know if you stayed that night.
No, I didn't actually.
You didn't even stay the night and then came back for one soccer match. I think you are doing very, very well. I'd love to hear more about it.
Yes. And again, it was an opportunity that was, thankfully to Haydar, that was given to me. And probably one of the best, one of the best decisions I made in my life was to...
Let's knock on wood, mate.
Like I said, it all started with that $5,000, and but we never treated like a $5,000 business, which is a different topic, well, for a different podcast. But we treated from day one, we treated like a $20 million business.
Yes, we did.
So if you treat it like a $5,000 business, that's what you're going to get in return. But like I said earlier, we've had hard times. We had times where we were struggling with growth. We were struggling with getting more leads or franchise inquiries. But we've made a list of all our problems and issues, and we've got this black book. And whatever we've put in this black book, we also make a bit of an action plan out of it. And I always say, if it's on paper, it's you're halfway there anyway. So
awesome. Look forward to hearing.
Thank you.
Or reminding me. I mean, obviously, we forget over the years all the good things that we've done.
Yes. So, what was your challenges when you in the early days, Haydar?
Oh, my challenges were getting work was very, very hard initially. And I remember I used to spend most of my day in the office, and then in the evenings, I would walk the streets delivering pamphlets myself. And then sometimes I'd even have to go and do some work myself. So I still had my mop and bucket and my little squidgy. And on the weekends, I'd go and do that just to keep the ball rolling, just to get some income. So getting work was hard. I think things changed around the time when we expanded our Yellow Pages book exposure. I think we took the back cover of the book or some double page in there. Things started to grow from there.
Not many people might know what Yellow Pages these days.
True.
It's not existent now, but back in the day, we had this big Yellow Pages book.
Yes.
Businesses, I think, AAA or...
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, not many of our listeners may know what Yellow Pages was these days.
True. And then I remember to grow the brand, to be able to sell franchises, I had to go to pretty much every trade show, every franchise expo that was around, and I went. Even going to those expos, setting up a stand and then trying to showcase our product. People weren't even aware of how does it work, how do you join? So it was pretty challenging early on. But I remember the day when I knew I made it, and that was, we had a Jim's Group conference at Waterworld at Gold Coast. And I was walking through the gates and the girl said, the ticket girl, she says, oh, where are you guys from? And I said, oh, we're from the Jim's Group. And then she said, oh, do you mean like Jim's Mowing and Jim's Cleaning? And I thought, wow, I think now I've made it, because now I'm known. And that was, like 20 odd years ago, so which is good.
Very good story. And the brand has over 96% publication now. So very surprised if someone doesn't know Jim's Cleaning these days. But what's the favourite part of your journey?
I just like keeping in touch with franchisees who are still with us or even not even with us. I message Stephen and Kelly, and they ring me every now and then. Stephen and Kelly was my first franchise that I sold at a franchise expo in 2001, who are no longer a gym, but still we keep in contact, and just keeping in contact with people like that. I like it. Yeah,
obviously some of our franchisees use our business as a stepping stone to the next part of their life as well. And we don't expect everyone to stay with us for 50. We want them to, obviously, but I've seen many franchisees where they openly say, "Look, this is our 5-year plan, or this is our 10-year plan, and after this, we're going to do different plans." And a lot of examples of franchisees. I've got a car detailing franchisee in Sydney who started with nothing.
Yes.
Actually took out a loan from friends and family to buy the franchise. Paid her off in 3 months. Purchased a petrol station a couple of years later, and now he's a builder.
Is that right? Is he still a gym?
He's still with us. He doesn't do the work himself, but he's got a crew.
I think I met him recently.
You'll meet him at our Sydney team meeting. But and we love hearing stories like that where this franchise, when we make changes in a positive way, obviously, to people's lives, I think it's very rewarding.
Good on you, mate. You should be proud of yourself. I'm certainly proud of you.
Thanks, Haydar.
Yeah.
Well, that's it for today, and we'll see you next week. And next week we'll discuss how I turned the $5,000 business investment into a multi-million-dollar national company. Thank you.